The Civil War had just ended, and the passing of the 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States. It was a time of rejoicing for the newly freed slaves who looked towards creating a new life.
One of the first faith-based institutions to be established in the United States of America after slavery was an organization called the General Association of Kentucky Baptists right here in the state of Kentucky.
In 1865, 12 Black Baptist churches met in Louisville, Kentucky at the 5th Street Baptist Church and began discussing their need for schools aimed at educating and training African Americans, many of whom were just one generation away from slavery.
They're tasked with creating a new black intelligentsia that are going to become the socio-political leaders of Black America. That's really the context that Simmons fit into as we were going into the 20th century.
November 24th, 1879 is the official date when the state's only black college opened its doors as the Kentucky Normal Theological Institute.
When you talk about excellence, Black people have always understood they had to be better. So HBCUs have always simply been a conduit for that excellence.
At its height, the nationally recognized Institution of Higher Learning was a thriving liberal arts university with departments in medicine, law, business, music, and theology. Some historians have described it as the Black Harvard of the South.
They aspired for Black people to be lawyers and teachers and physicians, the professional class.
Education was important to African Americans at that time for the same reason that education is important to African Americans now. It is absolutely essential that Black people understood the system in which they were functioning, no matter how unfair that system was or is.
The product and vision of former slaves, its story reads as one of pride, determination, trailblazing, and also tragedy.
And then a huge catastrophic economic development takes it down. And we don't know how to hold on to the institution itself.
In 1930, Simmons University was forced to close nearly all of its departments. And just as the mighty phoenix rises out of the ashes, Simmons is the only HBCU in history to make a comeback.
And no university in American history has ever lost its campus and returned back to the original campus that it lost 77 years later.
Today, Simmons is about impacting its community and changing the lives of students. It serves as a beacon of light to an underserved population. Embedded in its mission statement is the phrase, to create agents of change.
Perhaps through this engagement, we will talk about each of us challenging each of us to bring forward 20 young people, 30 young people, whatever you can take on to help illuminate a path to a future that they may have difficulty seeing.
You really touched on what I think is probably one of, if not the most important function of HBCUs. What HBCUs do is they set up a situation where students understand that Black people have a history worth studying, lives worth living, and a future worth constructing. And who better to do that than somebody standing in front of them who looks like them and can function without fear and say, you can do this too.
Yeah, I'm proud. Like, I love wearing my little Simmons t-shirts and stuff. Oh, I love seeing Black professors. It just gives me a goal that if they did it and they're in front of me, then I could do it. I feel like we're bringing light, we're bringing empowerment to the West End, number one, because the school is in the West End.
And going through high school, I had one African-American teacher, and that was one of the only teachers that cared and pushed me enough, because I was kind of a knucklehead in high school, but he pushed me enough and cared for me enough to let me know that I'm more than the choices and decisions that I'm making.
I love my HBCU.
I love my HBCU.
Simmons College of Kentucky. Simmons College of Kentucky.
Simmons College of Kentucky.
It's literally changing my life. It's literally changing my life.
It's literally changing my life.